Hello. Hey, boss lady. How's it going? It's exactly 4 o'clock, looks like. I'm right on time. So, how are people doing today? I am not feeling super great. I've been taking these kind of heavy duty. Hey, boss lady. I've been taking these kind of heavy duty antibiotics. And mostly I've been coping all right with them, but today it's been about a week now, and they seem to be catching up with me. So, um, you'll have to excuse me if I'm not up to my normal chipper self. Um, I'm good. So other than that, I'm good though. But yeah, how are you, boss lady? It sounds like you're having success with your. Yeah, me too. Sounds like you're having success with your work situation, which is extremely rewarding. Often those situations. Hey, Cappy, Cappy, Cappy. Often those situations just drag on and on. So I was happy to hear that you're finding some solutions. Yeah, so um yeah, just I always keep forgetting when I'm doing lives to make that I should maybe do a disclaimer. He missed the boss's point completely. Is that do you think that that's deliberate, or is he just a dumb dumb? Cuz yeah, I mean that's one of the tricks they pull too, right? Of like pretending they don't understand what's going on. Like this crazy woman, this Shanda Vander Ark, who tries to claim that she didn't realize what was going on. Yeah, deliberate, yeah. It's game playing nonsense. I mean, it's hard to they're kind of irrepressible in terms of their narcissism if they have those qualities, right? It's really hard to win with them, like to win long term, right? They just don't seem to ever change. I was listening last night to I was sort of half watching, half listening to Kresha doing a live stream with she had Hella on from Hella Excited Utterance, and they were talking about Lauren and about the excuse me the LDS Church and the how it is that Lauren hi Elizabeth, she was in law school, this Shanda Vander Ark, is that who you're talking about? But yeah, so there was like questions about like how is Lauren managing to face all this out, right? And it seems that what Kresha is coming to understand is that she has sort of powerful backers, I guess, in the LDS church and in the media and stuff. And so that was how she was able to get the media pass for the Corey Richards case and all that. And it seems like people are still very interested in that kind of content, but I just find it very, I find it so frustrating that they seem to have just gotten away with what they did to Christina and are just carrying on. So, um, it's part of the reason why I stopped doing content about them was because I feel like I said what there is to say about them. The fact that they're going to carry on is in some ways none of my business, if you know what I mean. Like I don't have the strength to be constantly having someone like Lauren in my brain box. Cappy says Lauren is doing what she should have done in the first place, which is ignoring the problem and not defaming people. Exactly, right? And that's again, boss lady, exactly. I don't think that they're going to change. This is one of the reasons I was saying the other day, somebody was asking me if I would consider covering the Epstein files and all that sort of stuff. And the fact is that like I just find all that stuff so infuriating because all of those people just are committing these terrible crimes with impunity. I mean, Epstein didn't make it, and I have my suspicions about why that is, but for the rest of them, they're just getting away with it, and it's very hard on my system. Whereas I find like talking about people who are actually getting their comeuppance is more of a balm to the soul. So I wanted to cover this. Yeah, I avoid Epstein. I mean, I like to keep, I like to kind of know what's going on without knowing any of the details. I would like Trump to be held accountable, so I keep my ear open for that. But otherwise, I don't. Like I was saying the other day, I haven't watched any of Dr. G's stuff about it. I just find it too. Those people are like the literal, like, they're just anathema to me. They're the exact opposite of everything. Yeah, right, Elizabeth? That's a great piece of advice. She says, I don't let people take up space in my head rent free anymore. Yeah. And so, yeah, I try to, I mean, I sort of try to keep track of what's happening in the world just because I feel like it's important. Hi, ASB 412. But I just get very burned out on it very quickly. The last few times I've seen Lauren, she seems day drunk. I think she'll spiral out at some point. Yeah, I have heard lots of rumors about Lauren, the state of Lauren. So maybe she is suffering the consequences of her behavior. Um, yeah, maybe she is. Anyway, I don't want to talk about Lauren. That's not why we're here. We're going to talk about this other terrible person. So I'm sure you all know who Shanda Vander Ark is. I think this is her mugshot from her original arrest on the when Tim. I can't remember the entire story of when she was arrested and all that sort of stuff, but so I just thought I would read this little bit of background and then we could just watch the hearing. So she's, as far as I understand it, she's claiming ineffective assistance of counsel and also that she was not fit to stand trial and that she didn't understand what was going on. So it was all terribly unfair to her. So I'm just going to read this a little quickly. So Muskegon, Michigan, a jury, this is from December 15th after her trial. A jury on Friday found a Western Michigan woman guilty of murder and child abuse in the starvation death of her disabled 15-year-old son who weighed just 69 pounds when he died. The Muskegon County Circuit Court jury deliberated just over an hour before convicting Shanda Vander Ark, 44, in the July 6, 2022 death of Timothy Ferguson. An autopsy determined the teenager died from malnourishment and hypothermia. The medical examiner ruled his death a homicide. Vander Ark was sick and not in the courtroom when the jury reached its verdict. She faces mandatory life in prison. Vander Ark's attorney argued his client did not grasp the harm she caused her son, did not know that he was starving to death. However, a Muskegon County deputy prosecutor, Matt Roberts, disputed the notion and said she tortured her son by feeding him hot sauce, putting him in ice baths, depriving him of sleep, and locking the refrigerator and food cabinets. She killed him. She starved him to death, Roberts said. Timothy Ferguson had some mental disabilities and was being homeschooled, prosecutors have said. So I don't think she was schooling him. She was punishing him with hi, Kim Hastings. Nice to see you. I feel like I haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you. Yeah, for 9-hour ice baths and stuff like that. That's what, so on the last day of his life, she had Paul put him in an ice bath and leave him there for many, many hours. Yeah, she was schooling him, all right. And then she dragged him out of the bath and threw him in his little closet where she told him he better not move, and apparently he never did again. Lying on top of a pea-stained tarp is how he died. So I know that the justice system, that it's important that the justice system play out and that people get to appeal in the case of wrongful, to ensure that wrongful convictions are weeded out or whatever. But this woman was not wrongfully convicted, and it is just outrageous to my mind that we have to be hearing from her again. I feel like she should just go away forever. So this is the Michigan Department of Corrections website. So this is just her bio information. Shanda Margaret Vander Ark, female. Her hair is apparently strawberry blonde. So she's not getting out unless, right? So earliest release date, life. Maximum discharge date, life. I thought it was interesting that she has a tattoo on her upper left buttocks of a Playboy bunny, which is like a super classy lady tattoo. So child abuse, first degree, is the offense. 50 years is the minimum sentence. 100 years is the maximum sentence. And sentence 2, homicide, open murder, statutory short form, minimum life sentence, maximum life sentence. So the date of her offense was the 7th. Timothy died on July 6th, 2022, and she was sentenced to life in prison on January 23rd, 2024. And then this is the hearing, and you can see from, here, let me hang on. I'm not sharing that tab. Here we go. I don't know if you can see how absolutely awful she looks. I don't think she's ever getting out either. It's the brownest strawberry blonde I've ever seen. Yeah. She graduated from Western Michigan University Cooley Law School with honors, Elizabeth says. Yeah, that's right. I actually am that's starting to come back to me a little bit now. I did not follow this case really closely. I find these kinds of neglect and abuse of children cases just so disturbing. But yeah, so she does seem to have lost a lot of hair, but she seems really oblivious of the whatever this is, this French braiding thing that she does is not a good look on her. Yeah. So, I mean, if she didn't understand what she was doing to him, then she belongs in a state prison a state hospital for the rest of her life. Either way, right? I just don't see that she's coming out. So anyway, here we go. Let's have a listen. It's about an hour and a half long, so we're gonna get started. Yeah, I agree. We knew. It doesn't start immediately, but I just want to watch her because she's a freak. See how much she looks like Paul? Yeah. I always can't help feeling for the lawyers who have to represent people like Shanda. Like you would just have to fake so much when you're around her, right? She looks so much like Paul. Exactly, right? I was thinking about that case that's going on right now in Hawaii with the guy who tried to push his girlfriend off a cliff, or his wife. Oh yeah, her hair is crazy. Zoom in, it's like all this. It's a great big frizzy mess. It's all kind of coming out at the top along the part. But I was wondering about I don't actually know this, but I was thinking about is the punishment for attempted murder as serious as the punishment for murder? Because I feel like just because you were useless at your murder, you shouldn't be given a better sentence. You know what I mean? I would guess that the prison is not agreeing with her either, Kim. I'm not sure it agrees with anybody. But anyway, carrying on. Does anybody know who that is in the background? Right?
All rise, court resumed. Morning, please be seated. Right, before the court is filed 2023-110 FC, State of Michigan versus Shanda Vander Ark. Are you Shanda Vander Ark? All right, Ms. Vander Ark appears before the court with her attorney, Mr. Ronald Ambrose. Ms. Lindquist is here on behalf of the State of Michigan. Setting time for continuation of a hearing on a defendant's motion for a new trial. I believe we are at the point where Ms. Vander Ark was going to testify. Is that correct, Mr. Ambrose?
It is.
Okay, is that your understanding, Ms. Bloomquist?
That is, Your Honor. At the last hearing, we took some of my witnesses out of order so that we can just kind of get something done on the record. I believe it was November 25th.
Okay, all right, Mr. Ambrose, you can go ahead and call your first witness.
Yes, Shanda Vander Ark.
All right, Ms. Vander Ark, if you want to come right around here, please remain standing and raise your right hand. Put your hand on the grab seat. Please state your name for the record, spelling your first name and last name.
Shanda Vander Ark, SHANDA VANDER space capital ARK.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Ambrose.
And Ms. Vander Ark, you are the defendant in this case, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And your attorney at the trial court level was
Fred Johnson.
Fred Johnson. And when did you first meet with Fred Johnson?
About the case, the day after, 2 days after I was arrested.
Okay. And can you tell the court what your conversations were with Mr. Johnson?
That first day, we just kind of talked in general. We said from day one that I was going to have to testify. So we talked about that. He talked about he was putting together a team to work on it. And I remember one thing of all the weird things to remember. He asked me what my favorite TV show was, and he was going to have an intern watch it and then come in and tell me about it every week just to have that time. But there wasn't a whole lot of specifics that day. We were just talking. He asked about my mental health. And
Was there any a point in time that you ever conceded your guilt in this case?
never.
Did you always relay to Mr. Johnson that you were not guilty?
Yes.
Right. Have you ever been charged with anything?
No. I've never even gotten a parking ticket.
Okay. You have testified in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
Prior to testifying in this case, had you ever testified before?
Yes, sir. When I was a kid.
Or how old were you?
Oh gosh, from age 8 up through, I think about 16 was the last time my biological father tried to get visitation or custody of us.
Okay. Was being charged in this case, can you describe your mental health immediately after being charged?
Oh, horrible. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I actually didn't eat for 18 days after I got to Muskegon County Jail. It was, I didn't know which way was up.
And just as a bit of a background, when did you move to Michigan?
Oh gosh. 2015, I think.
Okay, and,
My little guy was like 6 months old.
okay, so it was, who moved to Michigan with you?
It was my late husband, Adam, and little man, and myself. That was it.
Okay, and at some point Paul comes to Michigan?
Yes.
Do you recall when that was?
He had just turned 18 and graduated high school, so that was 2020. It was in the middle of COVID.
Okay, and sometime after that Timothy arrives.
A year later.
Do you remember the month?
I want to say it was the end of May because school had let out.
May of 2021?
Yes, sir.
And I think during your testimony in this trial, he came with like a bag of medications.
A gallon size Ziploc bag, yeah.
All right. What were the medications for?
Well, he was diagnosed ADHD, sensory processing disorder, bipolar, and on the autism spectrum, but he was very high functioning. And so that was, he had, I don't remember the name of any of them really, but there was one that made him like a zombie that he took twice a day. And I mean, I think there was probably 8 or 9 medications per day that he was taking.
Why did he move to Michigan?
I got a text from his dad one day that he could no longer deal with him, that Timothy was pushing his buttons. If he did not come to live with me, my ex was going to put his hands on him.
And so in May of.
And asked me to take him, yes, and I took him.
From May and when he first arrived, what was his behavior like?
I mean, he was about to turn 15 when we got him, so he was a teenager, but nothing outlandish. I mean, he was trying. He did not care to tell the truth hardly at all. There's no point in asking him a question pretty much the whole time. But he would do stuff. He took my youngest toys at times. He broke a couple of them, and then he took some stuff from Paul. But like it was just typical teenage. It wasn't anything that we couldn't handle. So.
In January of 2022, a significant event happens.
My late husband, Adam, had a stroke January 3rd of 2022.
Okay.
A massive stroke.
And how did that impact the house?
Better question is probably how didn't it? I lost his income. I was already the primary breadwinner, but then I'm the sole breadwinner. We had a babysitting schedule worked out for the little guy, and with Paul and Timothy, at that point we didn't leave Timothy alone with the little one, really. And I was working full time. I was gone because of the location I worked and driving over there and driving back. I was gone from the house 12 hours a day, 5 days a week. So everything just fell apart. I wasn't paying bills on time. I was barely surviving.
Was Timothy being watched by your late husband prior to January?
Yes, yeah. Him and the little guy. And Paul.
I think you mentioned there in your direct testimony, this was around Mother's Day of 2022. Timothy was about 104 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
And you knew that because he picked up the dog.
He weighed the dog. I could no longer lift. It was a Great Dane puppy that was 6 months old at the time. And the dog weighed 102 pounds. There was no way I could lift that dog.
Okay.
And so he got on the scale, weighed himself, grabbed the dog, got on the scale.
What happens from that day until July 6, 2022?
I mean, from what little I remember, it was the same thing that had started when the stroke happened. Timothy, I remember a couple times he flat out told me, he said, I'm going to keep doing stuff until you just let me do what I want. And I said, that's not happening. And it just snowballed. I don't remember a peaceful moment after the stroke for one reason or another. And that's not all on him. I mean, it was just in general, but he certainly created a lot of it.
He dies on July 6, 2022, correct?
The month before 16,
When are you arrested?
July 7th.
And are you immediately taken to the Muskegon County Jail?
You mean on the 7th?
Yes.
Yes, from the Norton Shores Police Department.
Okay. What were your conditions like in the Macomb County Jail, or Muskegon County Jail?
It was awful. I was on max security solely because of my charges, so I was isolated completely by myself in a room.
When you say max security, what was it like?
You're in a room by yourself. You only have the option of getting out of the room into the pod 1 hour a day, so you're locked down 23 hours a day. For me, I was in such bad shape. I couldn't eat. I barely slept. I mean, the whole 17 and a half months there, I might have averaged an hour or two of sleep a night. And there was no mental health treatment. I mean, they tried a couple of meds, but they did nothing. And I kept asking to speak with the doctor, because it was always a social worker. And she said, oh, you're on the waiting list. And I guess the waiting list was longer than 17 and a half months. But I met with her a few times, and she was no help at all. She'd say, oh, I'll meet with you once a week, or I'll meet with you once a month, and that never happened.
So it wasn't because of anything that you did, it was just the nature of your charges that they put you in max?
That's the only reason, yes.
That's the only reason, was the nature of the charges. Like, what does she think what is she trying to say there? That starving a child to death isn't a good enough reason to be put in maximum security? Is that what she's saying? Because it sure sounds like it. It's hard to imagine the headspace, right? How long has she had now? It's been over 2 years since she was sentenced. She's had lots of time to think about it. And what has she thought about it? Nothing, except the same thing she thought before, which was like, he was so bad, I had to starve him to death. Seems to be her defense.
How often, did you have mental health issues prior to that?
I have severe ADHD, and I have sensory processing disorder, and a little bit of OCD. I guess it was a month after I got to Huron Valley, I was diagnosed bipolar, which I've had my whole life, I guess, and didn't know it. But at the time, I just knew about the ADHD and the sensory processing.
How often during this time period would you see Mr. Johnson? From the time that you're incarcerated to?
I think the first month I saw him 2 or 3 times, but after that it was every once in a blue moon. I think he said it was once every other month. It didn't even seem like that often.
During your conversations with him.
So what did she feed him with, people? Anybody who is not aware of what she fed him with? She allowed him to have slices of bread with the hottest available hot sauce on it. So she realized that she had to give him something to eat, but she didn't want to give him any pleasure in eating. So that was what she fed him. Can you imagine the gastrointestinal stuff he must have been going through, and how much he will have suffered even from that, like just from having nothing in his system but bread with the hottest hot sauce available on it?
Were you talking trial strategy?
Yeah.
A little bit. We didn't a lot, but we did a little bit.
Was it ever, tell me what the strategy was.
Well, on the child abuse charge, it was intentionally and knowingly, and that was, without that, the felony murder charge was gone. And so that's where we focused. It was never on I didn't even realize second degree would be an option until the day of jury selection. So we focused on the intentionally knowingly from that. because that cost the felony murder charge.
Did you know manslaughter was
He never,
an option?
we never talked about second degree or manslaughter until the day of jury selection. It was on the jury instructions for second degree. And then the last morning, when I had the breakdown, I vaguely remember him coming in and saying he got these instructions added. And I had no clue what to say. I was in bad shape, so.
Well, tell me about, I mean, you testified,
Yes.
and tell the court how you felt during your testimony.
Well, before the testimony started, and this was one of the things that really shocked me, while the medical examiner was testifying, Fred was writing down questions. He had not had any
Objection,
questions.
non-responsive.
Sustained.
How were you feeling during your testimony?
Stressed, panicked, scared, terrified.
Okay,
Sorry. Isn't that what every defendant feels during their testimony? Are people supposed to be feeling comfortable and at ease and like they're in their safe space when they're being tried for first degree intentional homicide? Sorry. What was she thinking was going to happen?
and how did your testimony end on that third day of the trial?
I believe they were talking about jury questions, and I had a really bad panic attack.
Okay, and what happens after that?
Well, I had been in the room by myself in a pod.
Well, I mean,
At
from the time that you leave the courtroom, this courtroom.
Instead of going back to the pod, I guess the sheriff had decided to put me back down in holding instead of where I had been, where there was at least people around, even though I couldn't come out to see them.
Are you okay, so you're talking about in this?
In Muskegon County Jail, yeah.
Oh, at the bill, okay.
Yeah. So he separated me completely down in holding, and
Did Mr. Johnson talk to you after that, on that third day?
No.
Okay. And what happens at the jail over the course of the night?
well, I remember right after I got back, I mean, I was upset at the whole being separated, holding, the lights don't dim, the noise level was horrible, and I was trying to think through trial stuff just to keep myself occupied. I had thought of some questions I wanted him to come back and try to ask me the next day, but then I don't know if I even slept for an hour that night, but I remember that when I was, I don't want to say come to, when I was functioning, I was curled in a ball. I was freaking the heck out. I couldn't, when they first came to get me, I said, I can't even go. I can't leave the room. And they're like, well, you have to, come on. And it just,
How were
Sorry, I'm curious about I don't have law knowledge in particular. I am very curious how this is relevant to anything. That she was upset and felt bad when she was arrested for murdering her son. Like, how is this relevant testimony? I don't get it.
were you taken from the jail to the courthouse or courtroom?
well, we went to, I guess, where I changed clothes, and that's as far as I got. But we walked over there.
Okay. We heard, you were in the courtroom and we heard some testimony that you were curled up in a ball. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Sorry, so was she curled up in a ball on a piss-stained tarp in a closet with no clothes after spending 9 hours in an ice bath? Because if not, I don't really care or want to hear about it, honestly.
Were you suicidal?
I don't remember saying it, but yes, apparently I made at least one comment that I was going to kill myself.
All right. Sounds pretty drastic. What
I'm sorry. Is that drastic? Or is starving your 15-year-old special needs son to death after torturing him for months the drastic thing in this situation? How do they think anybody's buying this? I mean, I guess that she's entitled to her appeal. Okay.
What else do you remember from that morning?
I remember just being sheer panic. I was frozen, like I couldn't even move. I remember laying up against the wall on the floor on my side on one of the concrete benches in one of the holding rooms that they tried to come upstairs and I couldn't do it. And so I went in there and curled up in a ball on my side. I was completely paralyzed.
I mean, is there literally anybody who's not thinking good? Sounds like you were suffering as you should have been suffering. Is there anyone who's not thinking that? It's wild, right? God.
My brain was not working. Anytime I even thought about anything, I wanted to panic, and I had several panic attacks during that time.
Do you recall talking with Mr. Johnson during this time?
A little bit, yes, sir.
What was the nature of your conversation? Or was he talking to you, you talking back, or what was it, how was it going?
I remember at one point he came in and said that he had fought for a while to get the involuntary manslaughter instructions put on, and I remember thinking, what's that got to do with anything? And then I specifically asked him after we tried to come upstairs, I said, look, can we please adjourn this? I can't do this today. And I asked him several times, and he made a comment. He said, oh, it'll just be the same way if we do that. You're gonna have the same issue. And then he said, well, we'll just go on without you. And then he left.
Do you recall signing this document?
No.
You've seen it since, though?
Yes, I have.
All right. Is that your signature or not?
I mean, it looks like a version of it.
Okay. But you don't recall signing? Is that a no?
No, sorry.
I mean, it really is just a tragedy. I feel like it's so tragic that poor Shanda Vander Ark had a bad time of it when she was arrested for murdering her son. That's really... I mean, it's only one son. She has 3.
Did any medical personnel come to talk to you when you were in your condition?
No, sir.
Did any medical personnel come to look after Timothy while he was in that condition in the closet? Just wondering.
When you were testifying on that third day, did you ever concede that you were guilty of anything?
No, not for a second.
And as far as you knew, Mr. Johnson knew what your position was.
Oh, yes.
And what was that?
That I was not guilty. We had a visit. It was one of the last couple of visits I had with him, and he was actually the one that stated, we've been talking about the intentionally knowingly, and he said, they don't have intentionally and knowingly, you're not guilty.
Okay.
And I clung to that.
And the intentionally and knowingly.
What she's like, it's very weird to me what she thinks people are going to take away from what she's saying. Like, she clung to the idea that she didn't know her son was going to die when she didn't feed him, and that people were going to believe that because she didn't realize that he was going to die when he weighed 69 pounds and spent 8 hours a day in an ice bath.
Phrase that relates to the first degree child abuse. And in your understanding, the ultimate charge was felony murder.
Yes, sir.
And the predicate offense was the first degree child.
Yes, sir.
I don't have any further questions.
Is it all right if I move the podium? Okay. Good morning. So, Ms. Vander Ark, I just want to go back and ask you a little bit about your background, okay? So, were you a legal clerk, or what was your exact role at Newaygo County Circuit Court?
I was a law clerk.
Okay. And you were previously an intern in Muskegon County Circuit Court, correct?
Yes.
What were some of your job duties? in
Legal
those two
research.
positions?
Oh, sorry. Well, both of them. I did legal research. I helped score sentencing to make sure it was accurate. That was about the extent of it here because I was still in law school. When I worked for my judge in Nuevo, I actually did the research and I would draft opinions and then he would, decide if that was okay. And then most of the time he just signed off on that I'd gotten it correct.
Is it fair to say that you worked on post-conviction motions for your judges,
Yes, I did several times.
including claims of ineffective assistance of counsel?
I would assume so. I don't remember.
And so in other defendants' cases, you would be writing draft opinions or bench memos for circuit court judges.
That's what I wrote. I don't think we had an ineffective assistance. I don't think so. I may be wrong, but I don't think so.
And it's your testimony that your opinions or your recommendation to the judge was so good, he just wrote off on it, signed on?
On most of the time, there was a few that he adjusted, but he would read them and then send them over to his clerk to publish. So
And this all happened before you were criminally charged, correct?
yes,
So even before you were at a trial, you are intimately familiar with post-conviction motions, correct?
I wouldn't say intimately familiar. Some of them I was familiar with, but
Familiar enough for your judge to just rubber stamp what you
for the
said?
ones, a lot of what we did, actually most of what we did was civil. There was some criminal, but most of the motions and the work I did as far as writing was civil. He did both civil and criminal.
Now, Ms. Vander Ark, you mentioned that Mr. Johnson had a team of individuals at the public defender's office, correct?
Yes.
And could you tell the judge how many individuals were on that team?
I have no idea. I think total I met with over time probably 6. And then he mentioned having somebody doing research and other people and other interns working on it, but that's the people I met with. I don't know how many there were.
Okay. It wasn't just you and Mr. Johnson working on the case, though.
No, it wasn't.
He had,
I just want to say Claire Conley says, she's talking to Boss Lady, I guess. I work with autistic people, children. I specialize in music therapy. There's no excuse for this. Thank you. There is no excuse for this, and I think we all know that. But hearing from a professional, it doesn't seem to me like any behavioral problems that he had could have been unmanageable or whatever. Oh, thank you, Cappy. That's lovely of you. But I'm always happy to hear from professionals because I'm always just here with my uncredentialed opinions,
social workers that
Yes.
assisted you,
Yes.
and it sounds like interns as well,
Yes.
and other attorneys in his office.
Yes, I only met, as far as the criminal side, I only met with another attorney in his office. It was at one hearing. It was the gentleman that sat second chair, and then at trial. I didn't meet with any of the other attorneys otherwise.
And you said that Mr. Johnson began meeting with you approximately 2 days after your arrest,
Yes,
and he continued to meet with you throughout the pendency of the case,
yes.
and his team would meet with you throughout the pendency of the case.
The social worker is the one I saw the most. I'm trying to think. I saw the intern some, but that was mostly it.
And when you say the social worker, do you recall, was that Melinda Katecki?
For the last 2 visits, I only saw her twice in person. And I think she was online once for a meeting with a doctor. But there was another social worker that met with me once a week, usually for the first few months, probably 6 months at least. And then she moved on from the office.
Now, Ms. Vander Ark, you've spoken quite a bit this morning about your medical, episode, for lack of a better term, medical episode that happened mid-trial. Okay, so I'm going to go into that. But that's not the first episode you had during these proceedings, correct?
No.
Okay. And one of those happened at your preliminary hearing or your preliminary
Yes.
examination, correct?
Yes.
And that occurred just before Paul was going to testify at the prelim, correct?
I believe so.
And your medical episode that happened in the trial happened right when you'd been confronted during cross-examination, correct?
I had one other one before trial,
Oh.
during trial.
Okay, when was that?
There were some police officers testifying.
And it's
But
your,
I was sitting there and had a panic attack and they cleared the jury out.
and
So what?
do you recall what the officer was testifying about when you had that?
I mean, so what? Honestly, like, who cares? Is this supposed to be evidence that she wasn't fit to stand trial because she had a panic attack? I mean, first of all, did she have a panic attack? And second of all, so what if she had a panic attack?
I don't.
Episode?
No, I don't.
Probably something pretty significant about your case, though, correct?
I mean, I would assume so.
Or something about your son's condition?
I don't know.
It's fair to say that those episodes, though, don't happen all the time.
They do, well, they were beforehand and they still do happen consistently.
That's a poorly worded question, so I'll clarify here. Those episodes didn't happen on direct examination with your own attorney questioning you, correct?
They didn't happen yet.
They didn't happen during opening statements?
No.
Or jury selection? No?
No.
They didn't happen during certain parts of your preliminary examination?
No.
But these episodes happen when you're confronted with evidence that you don't want to acknowledge or admit. Is that fair?
No, they happen when I was confronted with traumatic events. It was anything traumatic that got that bad.
So seeing your son, who was in
Sorry, so are we supposed to feel sorry for her because she had a panic attack when she was faced with the trauma of her son's death because she starved him to death? But we have no concern for how Timothy was feeling while she was treating him this way? I know these things are very obvious, but my God.
in your care for all those months in a
Yes.
picture was traumatic to you?
Yes, extremely.
But you've seen him every day that he was in your care, correct?
Yes. What I remembered, yes.
And then when you see a picture of him on that stand is when you have this episode.
Yes. I mean, I had panic attacks. Looking back, I know I had panic attacks previously, but I don't know what brought those on.
Nobody diagnosed you with a panic attack on the night of that trial, correct?
I don't know.
That's a yes or no.
I said I don't know.
You have no evidence that you had
Oh.
medical diagnosis of a panic attack that day.
That day? No. As far as I know, no.
And you have no medical diagnosis that you had a panic attack during your preliminary examination, correct?
There was no medical person called in.
Okay, so my question was, you don't have medical documentation of a panic attack that day?
No.
That is a really good point. YouTubing 2334. Nice to see you, by the way. I'm not sure we've met before. Glad you could join us. YouTubing says, can you imagine if having a panic attack and anxiety during a criminal trials was cause for during the trial? Facing murder charges is stressful. It's a sign of sanity. It's an appropriate reaction. I think that's an excellent point, YouTubing. I mean, in a panic attack, you know, exactly. Who's diagnosing her with a panic attack? She is. You lurk. Well, I'm glad you lurk, and I'm glad you spoke up because I think that was a really salient point, and I'm glad you shared. So yeah, convenient panic attacks, exactly. This is like my mother, right? Whenever you would try to call her on something, she would burst into tears, right? So you could never pin her down because she would get so upset. She would get so upset. It's exactly what this is. Yeah, exactly. The people like her lie all the time. And I mean, it's right. Who could say that she's not having a panic attack, right? Yeah. Liar, liar, pants on fire.
So let's talk about some medical documentation you do have. Do you recall Mr. Johnson submitted you to multiple individuals for forensic examination?
Yes.
And you met with those medical providers?
Yes.
And how many would you say, based on your memory, you met with?
A couple.
Okay. Would it surprise you that there's approximately 4 reports regarding your criminal responsibility or competency?
No. It
That
wouldn't
wouldn't surprise you?
No, because I understand the process, so it doesn't surprise me.
Okay. What's your understanding of the process?
That both sides can get the competency evaluation and the responsibility evaluation.
And you understand that under Michigan law, you're presumed competent unless proven otherwise, or unless shown otherwise, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You've never been shown to be incompetent, correct?
Not medically, no.
No, not legally. Is that correct?
Yeah.
You have never had a legal determination that you are incompetent, correct?
Yeah.
And that's after meeting with these 4 providers, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, some of the providers called into question your rendition of facts to present to them. Do you recall that?
I don't recall that, but I'll trust if they said that.
Do you recall specifically? Let me go back here before we get into that. Do you remember your interviews with these providers?
Bits and pieces.
Do you feel that you were truthful with them?
Yes.
Do you feel that you appropriately explained your situation and your memory with them?
I hope so.
But you don't know, correct?
No, I don't.
Sorry, bear with me one moment, please. Your Honor, I'm referencing People's Exhibit 2, which I believe was attached to my brief, which would be a June 20th, 2023 report authored by a Benjamin La Liberty, doctor. Now did you tell this doctor or this individual at the Department of Health and Human Services Center for Forensic Psychiatry that you disassociated during times that Timothy was in your care?
Yes, even times when he wasn't. I mean, it happened regularly, it still does.
Well, and that's my question. So is your claim in this post-conviction motion that you were disassociating during parts of the trial?
I mean, I'm not a medical person, so I don't know, but that's the only answer I have.
Well, so I'm not asking you to give me a medical opinion. I'm asking you to tell me what you mean when you're saying you disassociate. So what do you mean when you say you disassociate?
Usually it's a panic attack and I have no clue what's going on around me. I don't remember anything during that.
And so you've said that on that day of trial, when you had your episode, that you had a panic attack. But would that be a disassociation like you have just described?
During the panic attack, yes. They usually only last like 10, maybe 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Ms. Volkers?
Yes.
I just want to interject.
Woodman spare that tree. Nice to see you. Long time no see. I hope you have been keeping well. She is appealing. She's saying she's appealing the conviction. She wants a new trial. She is saying that she was not fit to stand trial because she was not, competent to stand trial, and that she's also claiming ineffective assistance of counsel. So just to get you up to speed there. Also nice to see you.
Ms. Vander Ark, can you describe to the court what you believe what you are experiencing, so what you call panic attack? What are you experiencing during this events that you label as a panic attack?
It's one of two things on the breathe. Either I hyperventilate or I feel like I've got an elephant sitting in my chest and crushing it and I can't breathe.
So that's trouble breathing?
Yes. I'm shaking. My head is totally spinning.
So dizziness?
Yes, sir.
Why is he feeding her?
I don't have a clue what's going on around me. I know people have tried to touch me during a panic attack, and that just freaks me out worse.
You mean painful?
No, just trying to make sure I'm okay.
So
And
when somebody touches you, what do you experience when somebody touches you?
I pull away, and the panic gets worse.
Okay, so you're aware of somebody touching you.
When they actually put their hands on me, yes.
Okay. When you say you don't know what's going on.
Awesome. Thank you for saying so, boss lady. I have had panic attacks. I had panic attacks when I was taking gabapentin and I went off it too quickly. And one of the symptoms was panic attacks. And it wasn't anything like what she's describing either. And certainly people touching me was like, what are you talking about? She's making shit up. And I was going to say, it sounds like she Googled that definition. Mary says, I feel like it sounds like she didn't even Google that. Hi, Lady Nerd 150. Yeah, she's completely lying. Yeah, she is. And the beautiful thing about these type of people is that she doesn't know that we can all see very clearly that she's completely lying. Literally everyone can see it. It's wild.
Not around you. Is it you have auditory problems or you can't hear, or you just have an inability to understand what's being said?
I think it's both. I mean, I don't remember anything that's been said to me during a panic attack. I know I had a couple people scare me at Huron Valley. They were just playing around, but it caused a panic attack because I didn't know they were there. And I guess they tried to talk to me and they said, yeah, we got no response. And I don't remember them trying to talk to me at all.
Okay.
It's like I'm down.
Any other symptoms?
It's like I go into a total darkness with this black hole.
No. When you say darkness, are you seeing black? What are you seeing? Is it
Like a
spots?
black or gray, usually. I'll try to fix on a spot as it sets in, but then that's it. I don't see anything else.
Can you move? Are you able to move your arms, legs, extremities?
Not most of the time, no. I'll curl up into a ball. And
So let me ask you a question. You curl up in a ball, you consciously make the decision to curl into a ball to stop the symptoms? Or is it an involuntary movement into a ball?
it's an involuntary movement.
Involuntary movement into a ball. Okay. And then you don't know how much time passes?
No,
That you're telling me? Okay.
no. I know that afterwards, I've had somebody there and look at the clock, and the only thing I could tell you has been I've had people say anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes that were around.
And you said these have happened while incarcerated currently?
Yes. They still happen
In your
regularly.
cell, in the common areas, where they happen?
Most of the time it's in my room
In your cell,
or in the restroom, yeah.
room or restroom? Okay. Any times when other inmates were around?
Yes,
Okay. So common areas?
yes,
And you're aware that these areas are filled, correct?
yes,
This would be on camera?
Yep.
Okay, so you're telling me that you experienced a panic attack where you curled in a ball on camera at the prison?
yes. In the foyer of one of my units, somebody came up behind me and scared me, and
Do you know approximately when that was?
I have well, I can give you a date range because there's a certain time I was in that unit.
Please
It
do
would
so.
be somewhere between end of August of 24, and beginning of January of 2025.
Okay.
That was the time I was in that.
All right, thank you. I just want to make sure we understand each other about panics. Go ahead, Ms.
If I may clarify, you said August of 2024 through January of 2025?
Yes, I was in. I can give you the name of the unit if
Yes,
you
that
want.
would be helpful.
Gladwin A.
Okay, I just have to answer this because this is I was just talking about this yesterday. Sorry, it's not related to this, but yeah, I don't know what happened. La Mesa, my views suddenly went down literally like 98% about mid-January, and I think that the algorithm changed. Something was happening. I don't know what, but I have hearing the same thing from people that they're like, hey, I didn't, they hadn't seen me around or whatever. So I was actually noticing just in the past few days that some of the names that I used to see all the time have started to show up again. So I don't know if I've somehow managed to trip the algorithm again. But anyway, I'm happy to see people because, yeah, I've heard of other channels complaining of the same thing too. I have a a connection with somebody who does another channel, Kirsten Alberts. She does a lot of videos on estranged parents. And she said that she has had the same experience, and that other people that she knows, same thing, just suddenly plummeted like huge amounts. So anyway, so yeah, if you want to leave a comment, that would be great. And just literally in the last couple of days, suddenly I'm getting comments again, and suddenly I'm seeing the names of people that were, fairly regularly showing up for premieres and stuff. So I'm delighted to have you back. Just wanted to say so. Thank you.
Okay. So, Miss Vander Ark, now it seems like we're all on the same page about what you mean when you say panic or disassociate.
Yes.
Okay. And it's fair to say it's your testimony that you had that sort of episode mid-trial during your cross-examination. Is that your
Yes.
testimony?
Yes.
Now, are you aware, though, in People's Exhibit 2, that criminal responsibility report that I previously placed in the record, that it was noted by the clinician that your claims of disassociating, quote, only occurred when Timothy was bad? Are you aware of that in the report?
No, I'm not, because that's not true.
Okay. And overall, the opinion of the clinician was that when you described your current state, you did not describe any substantial functional impairments within the context of your current confinement.
If I said that, that's not true.
Well, that was his opinion.
That was his opinion? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know he said that, but that's.
And here, let's go further. On page 10, Your Honor, if I may approach. I'm showing the witness People's Exhibit 2, page 10. All right, Ms. Vander Ark, if you would look at that, and would you read right where that star starts? Please read that into the record.
Ms. Vander Ark was asked to recount her thoughts, feelings, and behaviors around the time of the alleged offense. However, Ms. Vander Ark claimed to have no memory of the events that led to Timothy's death, noting she frequently dissociated due to the stress of interacting with him.
And you can keep reading. Please read the whole paragraph.
Of note, this immediately appeared to be a self-protective response style as opposed to the result of a genuine memory deficit or bona fide dissociative condition. That is, her purported memory loss was noticeably selective and only involved the actions that allegedly caused the victim's passing. Thus, Ms. Vander Ark cannot be considered a credible historian. That's not true, but.
Oh my God, she's editorializing because she can't shut up. But you know who she reminded me of just then was Nancy Brophy, who seemed to have this selective amnesia around the events of Dan's murder, but remembered everything else that happened that day. Interesting.
So, Ms. Vander Ark, we don't have an opinion from an expert that you were incompetent, correct?
Yes.
But we do have an opinion from an expert that you're not a credible historian, correct?
Looks like it.
And that's specifically as it relates to your credibility about these disassociations you claim to have, correct?
That I have, yes.
That you claim to have, correct? Have you been diagnosed medically in any of these reports with a dissociative condition?
Not in those reports, no.
Now, you, one of your claims in this post-conviction motion is that you take issue with Mr. Johnson not calling an expert, correct?
Is that the one? Is it La Mesa? Is that right? Is that the one where did the guy who put in the lock where they had wanted to have the room locked from the outside? Is that the one where did the locksmith report it? Am I right? Am I remembering that correctly?
If that's what's in there, then we discussed it briefly. I didn't know what he was doing. So as far as if he was going to call him or not.
So I just want to make sure I'm clear. You weren't sure if Mr. Johnson was going to call the expert or if we weren't going to have the expert here at this hearing? I just want-
For a while, I wasn't sure if he was going to call him at the trial.
Okay.
Sorry.
But you do recall meeting with Dr. King, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. How did you feel that meeting went with Dr. King?
Long.
Was it thorough?
I would assume so, yeah. I mean, I don't remember the whole thing, but I know it was exhausting.
Mm-hmm. Now, Dr. King also has some opinions as it relates to your credibility as a historian, correct?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. So I'm looking here at Defendant's Exhibit B, page 10. And Ms. Vander Ark, I'm going to just start here where it says conclusion. Ms. Vander Ark overreported general psychological dysfunction and generated a larger than average number of infrequent responses. Are you aware that that was determined based on your psychological testing?
I mean, I think I've read it before.
You have no reason to dispute.
No,
what
I'm
he
not
has in this
disputing. That's what
report.
I'm not disputing.
In fact, you actually attached this report to your motion for a new trial, correct?
Yep, my attorney did, yes.
On your behalf, though, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Yes. And so we have one clinician saying that you're not a credible historian and another saying that you overreport general psychological dysfunction, correct?
That's what they say.
Ms. Vander Ark, there is no medical opinion now that determined you were not competent to proceed with trial, correct?
Correct.
You have no medical evidence today that you've presented at this hearing, correct?
Correct. But nobody bothered to get any.
Your Honor, I'd move to strike that non-responsive answer from the record.
I will.
Thank you.
Is non-responsive.
So I'm going to shift gears here a little bit. In your direct examination, you've provided multiple other individuals that you want to place blame on for what happened in your criminal case. Is that fair to say?
I mean, I'm not going to dispute it, yes. I don't remember all that testimony.
Well, just today. Today,
Okay.
you said that it was your ex-husband's fault that Timothy came into your care, correct?
Well, he asked me, yes. That's what he told me, and that's why I took him.
And it's your testimony that it's the jail's fault for your housing situation that exacerbated your mental health, correct?
I didn't have any choice in the matter, so yes.
So that's a yes or no. Are you blaming the jail for your mental health?
For making it worse, yes.
So we have, you're blaming the jail, you're blaming your ex-husband. Now, you've also blamed Timothy today, didn't you?
As far as what?
As far as his behavior is causing you to act the way you acted.
As far as causing chaos, yes. I mean, as far as causing stress, yes.
And now you blamed work as well, saying that caused stress. Your employment before your arrest.
I mean, work always causes stress.
This has been a consistent theme.
She makes a good point. Work does cause stress for many of us, and yet relatively few of us starve our children to death.
For you, where you want to blame others for things you've done, correct?
Explain the situation.
Well, so what you're saying, it's your ex-husband's fault, it's the jail's fault, it's Timothy's fault, it's now your trial attorney's fault that we're here. So is it fair to say it's a theme of yours to point the finger at others for what's going on in your case?
I wouldn't say it's a theme, no. That's an opinion. You can see
All right.
the things that I had no say in, that you can't blame me for.
Now let's talk about the testimony you had about your being held in, you said it was max security during the
Yes.
pre-trial phase,
Yes.
correct? You said you were locked in there and isolated?
In a room by myself. Yes.
Okay, yes. Was Timothy also locked in a room and isolated when you locked him in the closet?
So let me get this straight. When you were in jail, they locked you up? Is that right? Like, what is... I mean, isn't this why... I mean, this is not the only reason why, obviously. Many of us have internal, boundaries that stop us from doing this sort of thing. But, I mean, commit crimes, go to jail.
Closet?
He wasn't locked in, but he was in the room, yes.
Okay. When you had alarms on his door to keep him in that closet, was he isolated?
Yes.
And he'd be locked in there for hours at a time, correct?
I would assume so, yes. I don't,
Yes or no? Was he locked in there for hours at a time?
yes.
And you want the court to use your isolation as a basis for making a determination about your mental health, correct?
It has an effect on it, yes, it does.
What about Timothy's mental health? What impact did your locking him away, isolated, have on his mental health?
I have no idea how to answer that.
Truthfully, it's what you're here to do.
That is truthfully. I have no idea how to answer that.
Now, you talked about some of his diagnoses, correct?
Yes.
Obviously, it wouldn't be beneficial to him to be isolated like that, correct?
Yes. I mean, he isolated himself too. He did not. I offered to, there were kids in the neighborhood, and I actually specifically asked them. He wasn't the most coordinated kid in the world, but they were playing basketball one day, and I said, hey, can he come over? They said, anytime. He never wanted to do that. When we went to little man's baseball games, he stuck to himself or with us. He didn't want to go talk to the older kids.
So it's your testimony that Timothy isolated himself.
Some of the time.
So I had to starve him to death because he wouldn't play with the other kids. Surely you understand.
Not all the time, but some of the time.
Timothy, who you went to such lengths to keep away from your in-laws that you were tracking their location so that your child G would be outside when his grandparents arrived, is the one that isolated himself.
I did not. That was not the point of finding out where mom was. It was because the house was a mess. It had nothing to do with Timothy. That thought it hadn't even entered my mind until I got asked about it at trial.
You expect the judge to believe that Timothy did this to himself, correct?
Can you define this?
Well, that's what your testimony is
I'm
that
saying-
he isolated himself.
I said some of the time, and you said this. That's
Okay, I'll clarify. He isolated himself in that closet?
some of the time. Some of the times downstairs,
At Adelson Hader, I just wanted to say, I think that little man refers to her youngest child, and they're calling him little man to avoid mentioning his name because he's a minor. Timothy, they do call my name.
He had nothing but a tarp in there? He isolated himself in there. Is that your testimony?
he tore apart a mattress. But
That was not an answer.
some
My
of the
question.
time, I said some of the time.
Did he isolate himself in those ice baths?
I wasn't there for that.
But you ordered it, correct?
I don't remember.
You had a cell phone at the time this happened, right?
Yes,
And you were messaging with your other son, Paul, correct?
yes.
And those messages speak for themselves,
I'm
right?
not disputing the messages. I'm just telling you what I do and don't remember.
Now, you testified earlier today that during the time after your your husband's stroke, you were, quote, barely surviving. Do you remember testifying to that?
Yes,
You were surviving just fine. It was Timothy that was barely surviving, correct?
I wasn't aware of enough of what was going on around me. I wasn't, I admit that.
Okay, a couple of things. Adelson Hater saying, I do not know this case at all. This is this Shanda Vander Ark. She starved her kid to death, basically, and she tortured him while she was doing it. And she has taken zero accountability. She was convicted, sent to prison for life, and she is now claiming that she was unfit to stand. This is her appeal hearing. She was unfit to stand trial. She shouldn't have even been there because her mental health was so bad, and she had ineffective assistance of counsel, apparently, are her reasons. And I also wanted to comment on this prosecutor because I haven't said anything yet, but she's awesome. And I get the feeling like she looks to me like she's super worked up, and I can almost feel her adrenaline and how motivated she is to nail this absolute, what did somebody call her, an evil hag? I think that, yeah, leg shackles in a cupboard. The details are horrifying, and she is exactly where she belongs. But I think the prosecutor's doing a great job, and I can feel her the outrage, right, that she feels. Yes, she favored little man. Yeah, she's great. She's very good. I don't know her name, but I am extremely impressed with her. All of this with her cross-examination here.
Now, another claim in your post-conviction motion is how your attorney, Mr. Johnson, handled the surveillance video from that closet, correct?
The motion about it, yes. Oh, yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes, from the
Okay.
brief.
And so you are claiming that it was ineffective,
Right,
or deficient of Mr. Johnson to let the police officer testify to the contents of that video, correct?
I mean, if that's what's in, I trust my attorney with that, so.
Did you observe that video?
No.
You were in that video, though, to your knowledge, correct?
As far as I know, yes.
And that video has been described by multiple individuals as extremely graphic and haunting. Are you aware of that?
I think I've heard that, yes.
And that video actually, in fact, shows your son take his final breath. Are you aware of that?
I did not know that, no.
And it shows what you were doing in the time leading up to him taking that final breath. Are you aware of that?
I would assume so.
Are you aware that it shows you being extremely cruel to him in those moments?
I don't know.
You're also aware that after he's passed away, it depicts you dragging him out of that closet. Are you aware of that?
I remember performing CPR, so I guess was what happened before that.
Okay, one second.
like, I mean, the things that are being, hi John Smith, nice to see you, the things that are being discussed are super upsetting, right? And the prosecutor is showing more emotion than she is. She's talking about dragging her nearly dead son across the floor, and there's not a blip on the radar of her emotions. Nothing. It's just wild to watch, right? It's almost like watching a different species. I mean, like, at least with Nancy Brophy, right? Like, I mean, Nancy Brophy's a nightmare, but at least she was like, I don't know, at least she was trying to feign some emotion. At least she seemed to understand what she was supposed to feel, right? This woman is like an automaton. Terrifying, yeah, boss. She's scary. Oh. Wow.
Thank you. Are you aware that at the end of that video, after you pull him out, there's audio about telling him to stop faking it?
I have no idea what was in it.
Are you also aware that before he passes away, you call him a dummy?
There was something said about that at trial. We all say stupid things.
So it's your testimony that that was just a stupid thing to say to your dying son?
I have literally never called my son dumb, ever, for any reason. Ever. I mean, never mind when he was like, he had some medical issues when he was a child, and we spent a fair bit of time in the hospital at a certain point in life. And I cannot imagine like insulting him in such a way ever anyway, but never mind in a like, and she just sits there. She's completely unaffected, right? Just, hi, 57 My Road. Nice to see you. Just sending a hi your way. Wish I could hype bit. Don't see that option. Please excuse spelling and punctuating. Walking the dogs without my glasses. Welcome to my world at 57 My Road. Glad to hear from you. No, the hype button seems to appear of its own accord. I have no idea when or how that happens. But thank you very much. I appreciate your engagement at all. It all helps the channel, and I'm very grateful for all of it. So thank you.
To insult him?
It's a stupid thing to say to your child, period. That's what
Yeah,
I'm
you
saying.
said it, correct?
Yes, I mean, I'm not disputing it.
Do you believe that your attorney should have let the jury view that video in its entirety?
No.
Okay. So you think it's probably a good trial strategy to shield the jurors from seeing you on video insult your dying son, correct?
Yes.
It's probably a good trial strategy to not have the jurors personally witness his last breaths, correct?
Yes.
And it's probably a good trial strategy to not have the jurors observe you telling him he's faking it when he's already dead, correct?
Yes.
Okay, people are talking about the hype thing, and from what I know is only my own experience, and I've only ever seen it on my phone, never on my computer, and it's never been something that I could search for and find. It's always, it's either there or it's not, and I've never had any success in finding it. Her defense, I think, is that she just was mentally ill and that she wasn't aware. I think her defense, right, was that she wasn't aware that he was starving to death. And she's, I think now, right, she's trying to blame her mental health, like saying, of course, those are terrible things to do, but it wasn't my fault because I was, you know, the victim of poor mental health or something. I think that's where we're at with Shanda.
Now, it's your testimony that during the trial there was some discussion about the manslaughter instruction, correct?
What do you mean? I'm sorry, can you rephrase that?
So you testified on direct that when Mr. Johnson came to the jail, he was discussing jury instructions.
Oh, you mean this hearing? Yes, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry,
I was
not this
confused.
hearing, I apologize, the trial. During the trial, there was a discussion that Mr. Johnson had with you about the manslaughter instruction.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask a couple of questions that sort of dovetail off of the court's questions here though. And I'm sorry to go backwards, but you said when you're having these dissociative episodes, you have involuntary movements.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, it's being recorded. So
Yes, I'm sorry.
Why do they always do the Breaking Bad fugue state thing? Like anybody believes it. Does she think that we believe it? Or does she just think Do you know what I mean? Like, does she actually think it through and think people are going to believe this? Is this all just automatic? Like, is there ever any self reflection where she thinks about what is actually the best strategy? Because this is just not believable in any way, right? And yet she seems confident to me, right? She seems relaxed and at ease and confident. Is she later going to claim that she was dissociating at this point?
And let me ask you this, was it an involuntary movement for you to grab the garbage can while you were testifying? Or was that intentional?
I don't know what you mean. I mean, I was gonna throw up.
Okay,
It was
so
right
did
there.
you make the choice to extend your arms and grab it?
Yeah,
And did you make the choice to lean your body over?
I don't know. I don't know on that. I mean, I was about to throw up, so,
Did it happen by accident that you were positioned that way?
I mean, no.
Okay. Are you aware there was no vomit in that garbage can once you left the courtroom?
I have no idea.
It's because you faked the vomit, correct?
I didn't fake anything. I dry heave all the time. I dry heave from motion sickness before I got the motion sickness meds I used this morning for the trip over.
Okay, let's talk about that. So didn't you claim at the last hearing that you had some motion sickness?
Okay, sorry. So this was just regular for her barfing like that. It wasn't anything to do with the how overwhelmed she was by the sight of her emaciated son. Yeah, serious ADHD. Yeah. I am also a hypocrite in the same case. There's something about Eileen Warnos that is actually, yeah, there's something about her. I don't feel that way about this one, but although, there are times when I've seen videos of Eileen Warnos where she came off as scarily as this person is coming across here.
On the way into court?
Yes, I did.
And do you recall whether or not that was supported by any of your transport team?
I remember they said that they had glanced at me in the mirror. I mean, I know I was dry heaving. I didn't actually throw up anything, but that's because I didn't eat intentionally. Because I knew I get motion
So do you
sick.
remember, I believe there was some in-court inquiry to your Department of Corrections officers. Do you remember them saying something from these seats back here at the last hearing?
I remember them talking from there, yes.
Okay, and I believe the judge, and I don't have the transcript, but I believe the court may have even sworn them in briefly for a couple.
One of them, yes.
One of them, yes. And it was as to your claims of motion sickness, or how you were feeling on the transport.
How I
correct?
was feeling on the transport, yes.
And there was no mention of you vomiting in that transport van, correct?
No, I dry heaved. I didn't have anything on my stomach to throw up, thankfully.
I mean, also with Eileen Warnos, didn't the first guy that she shot, wasn't he trying to sexually assault her? So, I mean, I'm just saying, right? Eileen was a victim in her life. I don't get that from paralegal law student Shanda Vander Ark. You know what I'm saying? It's really good.
Ms. Vander Ark, you were here for that November hearing, correct?
Yes,
And you sat in the courtroom while the other witnesses testified, correct?
yes.
Is it your testimony today that they all were lying about what happened in the jail before the Friday start of the trial?
What do you mean?
Well, so let's talk about it. We had multiple individuals who testified about your desire to not come to court, correct?
I know at least one said that, and I do remember making comment, I don't want to, but most of it was I can't.
Okay, but you did say the words, "I don't want to."
Yeah.
Is that a yes?
Yes,
And you ultimately memorialized that in an affidavit.
yes.
And you don't dispute that that is something you signed, correct?
No, I don't dispute it. I signed it.
Do you remember? Actually, I'm gonna strike that. Let me rephrase. Miss Kentucky testified about her observations of you
Yes,
that morning, correct?
yes, she did. Although hers were different than Fred's and mine, but some of them.
It's fair to say you have some selective memory about what you remember from that morning, correct?
It's not selective at all. I still have memory issues to this day.
So it's fair to say, though, you remember
So does Nancy Brophy. What a coincidence. Maybe they have the same mental illness.
some of the things, enough to
Some
say
of it.
Miss Kentucky's is different than yours.
Well, because I sat there and I was the one that wrote the affidavit. And I sat here when Mr. Johnson said that, and officer said that I was curled into a ball on the floor, and then she said I was up in a chair, that it wasn't as bad. But he described it, I mean, the most accurate total description was what he did, what he described and the officers described. Hers wasn't as accurate.
So you're saying that Mr. Johnson's description of you that morning is accurate?
From what he said, as far as curled up into a ball and not able to communicate, yes.
So I said yes or no. Mr. Johnson's testimony about that morning is accurate.
As far as I remember I'd have to go
Yes
back.
or
and-
no?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing further.
All right, Mr. Ambrose.
Are you saying all of Mr. Johnson's testimony was accurate?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
Not even close.
all right. You were seen by a number of professionals, correct?
Yes, sir.
One of those professionals is Dr. Colin King, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And the prosecution mentioned that on page 10, there is a conclusion part, and you testified as to that, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
The ultimate conclusion on page 11 of Dr. Collins' report, can you read that, the highlighted portion?
Yes, sir. After reviewing the text messages with Ms. Vander Ark and the police report, Ms. Vander Ark continues to insist that she did nothing wrong and was not convinced that her actions and instructions caused the death of her son. This clinician is of the opinion that Ms. Vander Ark truly believes that her actions were appropriate and not harmful.
Okay, and this is a report that Mr. Johnson gave you?
Yes.
And you talked about this with Mr. Johnson?
I don't remember how much we talked about that.
Okay, as far as you're aware that you've always expressed your innocence to Mr. Johnson.
Absolutely.
Did you ever concede or ask him to concede to anything?
Absolutely not. I never would have.
Now, after day 3 after your testimony, were you seen by any medical personnel?
No.
On day 4, were you seen by any medical personnel?
No, sir.
I have nothing further.
Ms. Nicholas?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
I have some questions. Ms. Vander Ark, I think you testified at the beginning of your testimony for Mr. Ambrose, is that you said on day 1, Mr. Johnson told you that you had to testify. Is that true?
No, I said I knew I had to testify.
You knew you had to testify?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did that conclusion come from the conversation between the two of you? Or was that something that you were already had concluded in your mind even before you talked to him?
I think it was mostly I concluded. I mean, we discussed it, but I kind of knew that from the first time. Or the
So
first
you
day.
knew it, so you're telling me this idea of you testifying came independently even before you had spoken to Mr. Johnson?
Yes, sir.
And then did Mr. Johnson discourage that idea? Did he encourage that idea?
He agreed with me the whole way. We talked about that multiple times and the whole process. And we always said I had to testify. There was never a question in that.
You said that Mr. Johnson, the discussions between the two of you had largely centered around that the prosecution had to prove intentional acts. Is that true?
For the child abuse charge, yes.
Okay.
Intentionally or knowingly.
Intentional and knowingly. Okay. And you said you two agreed that, based on what you were telling him, that intentional and knowingly had not occurred.
That's correct.
Okay. Was there ever discussion after that about, well, it's potentially, there could be a negligence argument here.
No, we never
Never talked
discussed
about
it.
negligence.
Never.
She also has that in common with Nancy Brophy sitting there like it's a casual convo. Remember the pictures of the scene of Nancy Brophy sitting up in court testifying with her arm slung over the back of the chair there, like she was just jawing and shooting the shit with the defense lawyer? Remember that?
You had indicated that you saw Mr. Johnson, you said around 2 to 3 times during that first month after you were arrested and taken to the jail. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. After that, you used the phrase, I saw him once in a blue moon. Can you give me an approximation how often that you believe you saw him going forward? Once a month, twice a month?
It wasn't. I think when he testified, he said once every other month. I don't feel like it was even that often.
Okay,
But
so
I don't
what's
know.
your independent memory of how often you came?
I would say once every few months,
Once every few months. Do
Yes.
you mean 3 months?
at least 3, yes, sir.
So once every 3 months. Okay. All right. Did that frequency increase as the trial approached?
I don't feel like it did. I mean, there was a couple at the end that were closer together,
Okay.
but
The month before the trial, can you tell me how many times you remember him visiting you?
I'm thinking 1, 2. There was 2 actual visits, and then we came in here for 20 minutes
Okay.
to do a little bit of prep, just a few minutes.
I want to make sure, I should have prefaced what I was saying. When we talk about Mr. Johnson, I mean himself,
Yes.
not any other member of his team.
No, I mean,
Okay. So those that you were testifying to was Mr. Johnson himself. Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay. Were there any other members of his quote-unquote team that had come and talked to you outside of those times that Mr. Johnson had come individually? So separate from Mr. Johnson.
you mean just before trial, or what do you mean?
No, well, let's start, you said 2 or 3 times Mr. Johnson the first month. Was there anybody else from his quote-unquote, let me go back. What did you know of his team? What did you consider his team to be?
I knew he had some interns. He had the original social worker. I don't remember her name. I'm sorry, I'm bad with
So
names.
social worker,
She came in once a week to the jail for a while.
okay, once a week. Okay.
And then that was it. We came in for a hearing. I think it was to something about competency, and Nick Goings was there.
Okay.
So I knew he was on the team. And then both the social worker and Fred had mentioned a research attorney.
Okay. Did you ever meet the researcher?
I did not.
So you believe 2 interns, research attorney, at least 1 other attorney, Mr. Goings, and you believe he was an attorney, correct?
Yes. Oh, I knew he was.
And Mr. Johnson, is there any, and the social worker, was there anybody else that you knew was on this team?
Not specifically. I know he would say he had people working on it, but that's
All right. And you're saying the social worker came in every week?
for a while. Before that one left. She left the public defender's office.
Okay, do you know approximately when?
I have
she stopped
no
coming to see
idea.
you? Okay.
I'm sorry,
That's
but
okay. And then when a new one took over, did that social worker come?
Does anyone know what the relevance of all this is? This about like the social worker's visits might have something connection to her mental state before the trial? Is that what this is about?
I saw her twice, I think, in person
Twice.
before trial.
Okay, all right. In terms of the interns, how often did you see an intern?
They actually did not come like he had said they would.
They never came?
One came with him. It was the same one a couple of times.
Okay.
I don't know, 2 or 3 times. It was there at the end. She sat in on the trial too.
So did an intern ever come independently of Mr. Johnson?
No.
Okay. I read your affidavit. One of the arguments advanced by your attorney and you in the affidavit was that Mr. Johnson did not argue what you felt. Well, let me ask you a question. The dehydration argument, was that to you should have been the primary argument?
I did not even know about that until the medical examiner testified.
Okay.
So when I realized that, I asked him to ask about it, but I think he only asked one question and that was it. I didn't even know about that until that day.
Okay, in your affidavit, it says, and this is one of the paragraphs, this is page 11. It says the medical examiner stated that one of the main causes of death was dehydration. It says, I specifically asked Mr. Johnson to examine this much deeper. There was no accusation against me regarding depriving Timothy of water. This alone could have raised a reasonable doubt that Mr. Johnson never pursued the subject at all. When you make the statement, I specifically asked Mr. Johnson to examine this much deeper. Are you saying was this before the trial, or was this after you heard the medical examiner testify?
This was after I heard the medical examiner testify.
So it's your testimony, and when you said we asked Mr. Johnson to examine this much deeper, was that during a break after the ME had testified?
No, it was in the middle of it. I wrote him a note.
Well, you wrote him a note.
Yes.
Could you recall what the note said?
I put dehydration ? And I said, please ask more about this, because
That's
he
what
had
you wrote
access
down?
to water. Yes, sir.
And your testimony that he did not?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I would have thought it was obvious that he had access to water when she was leaving him in ice water baths for multiple hours at a time. No, it's not obvious.
I don't want to go too much into what could have, should have. Did Timothy have access to water?
Yes, he did.
Was he cognitively capable of getting water on his own?
Yes, he was on the spectrum, but the only symptom he really showed was awkwardness. He was grade level. He was passing all his classes. And, he could communicate. He did interact with some people at little man's baseball games. But he just was awkward. He didn't want to hang out around other kids. And he was 15. He was, you try to hug him, he's like, Mom, go away. But no, he could communicate just fine. Trust me, he could communicate just fine.
And I just want to be clear what you believe the argument that should have been made. You believe the argument that should have been advanced to the jury was that Timothy caused his own death by not drinking water.
I mean, I think that something should have come up. And I just told him this, I probably can't even.
Is that the argument? Is that the argument?
Oh my God. Amazing, Judge. Thank you for making it so clear that that's in fact what she's saying.
Argument that you believe should have been advanced to the jury, that Timothy caused his own death because he stopped drinking water.
I think it should have been mentioned, yes. He had suicidal stuff before I got him, so he was
He had
hospitalized.
suicidal stuff.
Yeah, he was actually hospitalized for suicidal ideation. His stepmom told me that.
Geez, I wonder why he felt suicidal, that kid. I mean, it sounds like she's blaming him for feeling suicidal, even.
So you believe that an argument should have been made that Timothy essentially consciously caused his own death? He was suicidal. He committed suicide.
I mean, I don't know what happened. So, but
I know that. I
Yeah.
understand that. But I'm trying.
I think it should have been brought up, yes.
Okay, all right. I understand. Okay. Did your concerns with Mr. Johnson's representation, did those arise prior to the trial?
I was worried about it along the way, yes.
Okay. Did you ever attempt to bring those concerns, to the court's attention?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't in good shape. Remember, at the time I was isolated. I wasn't eating. I wasn't sleeping.
It wasn't her fault. I mean, she was able to articulate quite clearly to the lawyer what she wanted, but it wasn't her fault that she didn't make any complaint to the court about it, because the jail was wrecking her mental health. So, I mean, I think you all can see who the real victim is here.
I was not in good shape.
You had the ability to write letters, correct?
Yes, but I didn't have any. I mean, for the most part, at first I had a little bit of money on my account, but I didn't have any
Well, you
envelopes
can
or
write
anything.
cuts, correct?
Yes, yeah.
Those are free, correct?
Yeah, you can write them, they go to your attorney.
Were you aware that you could send one to the court?
No, I was not.
Now, you were in court a couple of times before trial, is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Is there a reason you did not bring that issue to the court at the time of those hearings?
I didn't want to speak out of turn. I mean, I wasn't thinking about it right then, but I just, those hearings were for certain purposes.
So you didn't feel that you could directly bring those to the court?
Yes.
I mean, she's kind of a shrinking violet, so yeah, that makes sense, right? Because, I mean, she's pretty shy. Yeah, it's like being it's weird, right? I mean, I don't think she's dissociating exactly. I just don't think she cares. Right. It's not her fault. It's the jail's fault. It's Timothy's fault. It's Paul's fault. It's Rex's fault. It's the lawyer's fault. It's the judge's fault. It's the court's fault. It's the, and she's just kind of a shrinking violet. So, I mean. Yeah, I mean, none of them did. I can't imagine that the youngest child would have fared any better in her care. I mean, and it may well be too late for him too. The damage may well be already done. I mean, she's a proper monster, this one.
Just below that paragraph on page 11, it says, I testified for around 5 hours on the Thursday of trial. I was supposed to finish my testimony on Friday, including some very important questions that I wanted Mr. Johnson to ask me before I finished testifying. Do you recall what those questions were?
For the most part, no. I remember one of them because I lose weight really fast. And so, I know there were some questions about Timothy's size along the way. And then we also talked because he's 6'1" and was like 130 pounds and I'm small. And I was going to have him ask me about how quickly I lose weight. Because if I don't eat for a day, I'll lose a couple pounds that fast. So I wanted him to bring that up.
So you wanted him to ask how quickly you lose weight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, family genetics. I mean, my mama did the same thing.
Okay. Now, any other questions that you can recall?
It's all just family genetics. He died of suicide and family genetics. It wasn't her fault.
Not that I remember, no. I didn't have a pen or paper to write them down. I didn't have that available when they put me down in the holding cell. What paper I had where I was at, I didn't have access to it.
Okay. These questions that you had contemplated, those were, I'm trying to figure out when you formed those questions in your mind. Was that on Thursday or was that on Friday?
Thursday afternoon. Thursday evening, yeah, after trial.
Thursday, okay. At the time that these questions were formed, were you suffering from a panic attack?
No, it was after that.
Okay. Friday morning, did you formulate any additional questions?
Not that I remember, no.
Okay. I want to know there's a lot of in your affidavits about what was going on in the holding cell, that you curl up into a ball, you're barely able to communicate. You asked Mr. Johnson to postpone the trial, and you recall what his response was.
Yes.
I want to know, do you independently remember that, or is that what your affidavit, is that based on what someone else told you?
No, I remember that small portion of it. I remember bits and pieces. I remember other parts of the morning as well, but that's it.
So,
No, I remember laying there. I was curled up, and because he testified that he had explained options to me and he did not. I asked at least 2 or 3 times to adjourn because I couldn't do it. And he said that, it was just gonna be the same and that they just go on without me.
Okay, so those things you can remember, but other things you don't remember.
Interesting that she can remember the things that help her argument, but she can't remember the things that don't. Does anyone think she's medicated right now? I suspect she probably is. Yeah, I would think so. I mean, I think most people in prison are depressed, right? YouTubing says, I kind of want everyone in prison to steal her food for months and refer back to this testimony to deny they had anything to do with the massive weight loss that ensues. Yeah. God.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay, So when during these panic attacks, it sounds like you have, if I say lucidity, you know what that means?
Yes,
So you're saying during these panic attacks, there are brief moments of lucidity during these panic attacks, where you remember, where you can cognitively understand what people are saying.
not usually during a panic attack. It wasn't one solid panic attack. It was multiple panic attacks that morning, but there was times where I wasn't actually in the middle of a panic attack.
So you're saying that these, what you recall independently of these communications, is when you were not suffering a panic attack.
Yes,
So the recollections that you have are from non-panic attack instances, correct?
yes.
That's all the questions I have. Please, there are.
Yes.
Any follow-up, Mr. Abrams, to those questions? Mr. Abrams?
As far as you're aware, when was the last time that either you or Paul provided food to Tim?
I want to say it was the day before he passed. I think Paul said he'd given him something.
All right, I have no further questions.
Any follow-up?
So Ms. Vander Ark, it's your testimony that Mr. Johnson should have probed dehydration, correct?
Yes, he knew about it the whole time and never mentioned it to me.
I knew about it too, correct?
What do you mean?
Well, let's go back. Were you at your preliminary examination?
Yes,
You attended it?
yes.
And do you remember the testimony of Dr. Joyce DeYoung,
At the preliminary? The medical
the
examiner?
medical examiner?
I don't remember her testifying at the
Do you have
preliminary.
any reason to contest the certified transcript of the preliminary examination?
No,
And in fact, on page 87 of your preliminary examination, the forensic pathologist testified his cause of death was dehydration and extreme emaciation due to malnutrition and starvation. Any reason to contest that?
no, I don't even remember her testifying.
Now, there was also, I'm sorry, I cut her testimony off short though, but a significant contributing factor of exogenous hypothermia, so exposure to cold, end quote. Any reason to contest that?
No, she's the medical expert.
The reason he had hypothermia is because he was in water for hours before his death, correct?
That's not what Paul told me. He had run.
I didn't ask you what Paul told you.
If that's what
The
she said,
evidence showed that Timothy was in an ice bath for hours before his death, correct?
not the whole time because we didn't have enough ice for that.
Okay, well, let's go to this. You had an ice maker on your counter at the house, correct?
Yes,
And that ice maker was used to put ice cubes into a bath, correct?
yes,
And you
Yes,
were
I know.
aware of that.
yes,
And ice is technically water, correct?
yes,
And bathtub water is water, correct?
yes.
So yes, it's fair to say you did not restrict his access to water when you ordered ice baths,
That's what I said.
correct?
I'll go with it. That's a really weird question, but I'll go with
Well, okay. You weren't keeping him dry by ordering ice baths for him, correct?
it. That's a really weird question.
Well, ma'am, you are saying that Timothy committed suicide by not drinking water.
I didn't say that. I said it was possible and it should have been explored because of his previous history.
Well, do you understand that if it had been explored, that there'd be further questions about the ice baths?
I don't know.
Because naturally a bath contains water, correct?
Yes,
Which was a punishment that you ordered for your son, correct?
once or twice, yes.
Now, you also said that your attorney asked you when was the last time Timothy was provided food. Do you recall that?
Yes,
Do you recall having conversations about putting food in front of his face and pulling it away?
no, I don't.
But you have no reason to contest those
I'm not
text messages,
contesting,
correct? I'm
no.
sorry, let me finish my question before you answer, okay? You have no reason to contest those text messages, correct?
Correct.
And so if they say that you said to essentially tease your starving son with a pizza roll, that Paul should do it.
If that's what it said, I'm not contesting it.
You also ordered that he be provided hot sauce, correct?
Yes,
Okay. Is that the food you're talking about with your attorney saying you provided food?
no, not as far as I know.
You also ordered that he have hot sauce placed on his genitals, correct?
It's what the text messages says.
Is that the food that you say you provided to him before his death?
No,
Now, the medical examiner didn't determine that your son died from suicide, correct?
it's correct.
But now you're here telling the court that he was suicidal.
I didn't say for sure he was. I said it never got raised.
Well, you sort of raised it in that video that you said that your attorney should have played, correct?
What do you mean I raised it in the video?
On the morning you discovered Timothy was non-responsive in that closet. Okay, you following along with me?
Yes.
So that morning, when you discover he's non-responsive in the closet, you have discussions with Paul about telling authorities that Timothy was on a hunger strike, correct?
I'm not disputing it. I don't.
Did you, in fact, tell Paul that we need to say he's on a hunger strike?
I don't remember. If that's what it was in there, then I'm not contesting it, but I don't know. I don't remember.
And now you're saying,
I wonder if a thing happened while she was having a panic attack. That seems to be why she doesn't remember things, right? Like, who does not remember saying something like that?
he was on a drinking strike too, correct?
I'm saying it should have been explored. There's a big difference.
This is just a
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Answer the jury was that Timothy caused his own death by not drinking water.
Sorry.
I didn't have a pen or paper to write them down.
into a bath, correct?
Yes,
And you
Yes,
were
I know.
aware of that.
yes,
And ice is technically water, correct?
yes,
You also ordered that he be provided hot sauce, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. I had meant to pause that and say something, but I have now forgotten what it was I was going to say. And I'm just going to let it go from here because. Right, it's suicide, but like, it's weird that that's what I was going to say when I hit the wrong spot there. She is like all eager to get a new trial because nobody mentioned that it could have been suicide from, he deliberately killed himself by not drinking water. But she seems to want to be distancing herself from it. Like, she's questioning her about that and she's immediately distancing herself from it. So I'm not sure how she thinks that this is going to be part of her new defense, right? None of it makes sense. Hey, Suma, nice to see you. Glad you could make it. Oh my God, her hair. I know. It is wild. You should go back to the beginning of the video, Suma, and have a look at her when she's just sitting there before the trial starts. It's a different angle and hard to believe, but it's actually worse. She actually looks worse than she does right now. So, sorry. Let's carry on.
Is that the food you're talking about with your attorney saying you provided food?
No, not as far as I know.
You also ordered that he have hot sauce placed on his genitals, correct?
It's what the text messages says.
Is that the food that you say you provided to him before his death?
No,
Now,
That.
the medical examiner didn't determine that your son died from suicide, correct?
it's correct.
But now you're here telling the court that he was suicidal.
I didn't say for sure he was. I said it never got raised.
Well, you sort of raised it in that video that you said that your attorney should have played, correct?
What do you mean I raised it in the video?
On the morning you discovered Timothy was non-responsive in that closet. Okay, you following
Okay,
along with me?
yes.
So that morning, when you discover he's non-responsive in the closet, you have discussions with Paul about telling authorities that Timothy was on a hunger strike, correct?
I'm not disputing it. I don't,
Did you, in fact, tell Paul that we need to say he's on a hunger strike?
I don't remember. If that's what was in there, then I'm not contesting it, but I don't know. I don't remember.
And now you're saying he was on a drinking strike too, correct?
I'm saying it should have been explored. There's a big difference.
This is just another scheme of yours to try to blame Timothy for his own death, isn't it?
Not at all. There is no scheme.
Okay, maybe not the right word. Your testimony is blaming Timothy for his own death,
I'm not
correct?
blaming anybody. I'm saying there's possibilities that should have been raised.
Well,
He
you're
had a
saying
history of suicidal.
So you're saying he was suicidal?
I don't know. I never even thought about the possibility until that morning in court. Because I honestly do not remember the medical examiner testifying at prelim. I don't.
You didn't think about the possibility until you were trying to find out a way to blame Mr. Johnson to get a new trial, is that correct?
No, that's not true.
I have nothing further.
Mr. Andrews.
Have you seen the death certificate?
Yes. I didn't see it till that morning of trial.
Until when?
Until the morning I testified.
Okay. Do you recall what the first thing that is listed on this death certificate is?
It's dehydration.
Right. And that's kind of strange, right?
It's really odd.
Because he's in an ice bath, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he has access to water, right?
Yes.
And so
He didn't.
he didn't drink.
No.
You never prevented him from drinking.
No.
All right, no further questions.
Results.
Does anybody else think that his system might have been completely shutting down on him because of the starvation, the constant starvation, and the like when she did give him food, she put the crazy hot sauce on it. I know she put it on his genitals, but she also fed it to him, right? She would tell Paul that he could have a slice of bread with the hot sauce on it. And if he was good, he could have a slice of bread without the hot sauce on it or whatever. And she claimed that she had to put the locks on the fridge because he was going to kill himself by breaking into the fridge and eating raw chicken nuggets. Remember that? She blamed him for that, right? The woman is... She's one of the worst, I think, of the trials that I've watched in terms of... I mean, I know Lori Vallow takes no responsibility whatsoever, whatever, but she was actually diagnosed with delusional disorder, right? Like, not that Lori Vallow's not terrible, and I'm not, I don't even mean to compare these terrible people who kill their children, but, I mean, Lori's story is that the kids are fine, right? That she didn't actually kill them because they're having eternal life somewhere else and she still loves them and everything's fine with them, right? It's very, yeah, right? It's very weird how dead inside this person is. Yeah, with Madeline or Jennifer Soto, yeah, that deadness behind the eyes. I mean, at least Jen had the wherewithal to pretend to be upset, though. I mean, she did a terrible job of it, but...
All right, stay there. Can you stay there? All right, Mr. Ambrose, any additional witnesses?
I do not.
Any witnesses?
No, Your Honor, just if the court would recall, we took my witnesses out of order last hearing. I have no further witnesses.
Okay.
See what I mean, Sima? She looks worse from that angle. And she looks almost exactly like her son Paul, also, from that angle.
All set, Mr. Ambrose?
Anything else, Mr. Abrams?
No.
All right, at
think it's important for the court, based on the testimony of Ms. Vander Ark regarding failure to raise concerns to the court. Ms. Vander Ark, I want to make sure we address you directly at this point, so you are free to talk to the court.
Okay.
I need to know if you believe that your attorney, Mr. Ambrose, it's a little awkward, but is there anything that you believe he should do going forward at this point in time in regarding to your motion for a new trial?
No,
Are you satisfied with his representation?
very much so, yes.
Any other witnesses you want him to call?
No.
Is there anything else you want him to do?
No.
Okay, all right, good enough. All right, I think that's the evidence is concluded. The court is going to take the matter under advisement. The court will issue a written opinion, and then we'll go from there.
All right, I'm assuming that Mr. Roberts is not testifying?
No, he's not.
Okay. That was mentioned at the last hearing that he may be testifying, and I was kind of prepping for that.
Do you want him? Do you want to call him as a witness?
No, that's all right.
Okay, you sure?
Yeah.
Ms. Vander, do you want him to testify? Mr. Roberts? All right, good enough. We're in recess. Good day, good weekend.
Okay. Wow. So that was yeah, that was worth watching. Absolutely. My God. Yeah, it's wild to think of treating someone that way. Do you guys remember that movie? I can't remember what it was called. A lot of you were around an age with me though, but like in the 80s, sort of late 1986 around. And it was starring Farrah Fawcett, and she was so the story was that some guy broke into her house and attacked her and assaulted her and all the rest of it. And she's the victim, and it's this terrible situation, and at some point she gains the upper hand and she turns the tables on him and she starts abusing him. And at some point, the whole question, right, is about like, did he deserve it? Is it okay to do that to somebody just because they did it to you? Where is the line, the moral line, right? The whole eye for an eye thing. But from what I remember watching it, I was quite young. I was about 19 probably at the time, 19 or 20. Is that what it was called? Burning Bed? You guys are all so great. Yeah. And it was really hard to watch her tormenting him, right? She turned the tables and became the tormentor. And it was really hard to watch. And I was like, you guys are saying, like, I can't imagine doing this to a child or to my own child or anything like that. And it's like, I can't even imagine doing it to somebody who had harmed me. Right? Because I still have functioning empathy and I feel what other people are feeling, and it makes me very, very uncomfortable to feel that way. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, it wasn't a great piece of filmmaking by any means, Boss Lady. But it was, I've never forgotten it because of what what I kind of learned about myself through it, I guess, whatever. But I just still couldn't even torment somebody who had tormented me. I might, in a situation like that, fight back and end their life in self-defense or whatever, but I can't imagine doing to that person what they did to me. I would not be able to handle it. I'm not really sure what the story is with her childhood. Does anybody know what her childhood is? Anyway, I wanted to see, maybe I'm going to search if I can find a picture of Orlando. Mm-hmm. There he is. Yeah, what is just a tragic story. There was a whole bunch that were all coming out at that time. There was that guy that had built the room in the garage where the locksmith turned him in for making the room with the lock on the outside. And then there was the Frankie Hildebrandt thing. There was that guy who was like 30 years old or whatever that set the house on fire to finally get away from his stepmother, who had sort of been holding him hostage for 20 years or some insane thing. They're just, and I've seen others that I haven't looked into. I've seen, headlines for others that I haven't looked into. I just can't, like, how are these people real? How are they real? How are they going out and, like, she was going to work every day and, like, spending the whole day on the phone texting with Paul about how to torture wee Timothy. It's like, I don't know how these people exist. I don't know how they exist. It is very hard to comprehend them, inner psychic. I mean, he was a kid. He looks very slim there, but there are some other pictures of him where he's, got some meat on his bones, and he looked like a completely, that's the guy. Yeah, Ruby Frankie, that guy, the Tim Ferreter. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, Paul got life in prison. Yeah, he went on trial too, and he got life in prison, and he was gobsmacked because he told a pretty big sob story. And I mean, to be fair, he was clearly conditioned by his mother to do the things that he did, but he was also, well into the age of reason, right? He was at least 20 years old at the time that he was doing it. And there are, there are indications in the text messages and stuff that, sorry, Adelson hater, I just thought I would rather look at this boy than look at his disgusting mother. There were indications in the text messages that he knew that it was wrong, right? He knew what he was doing, and he knew that it was wrong. So, I see people seem to have mixed feelings, right, about Paul, because he was clearly a victim of Shanda as well. But he was the one that was carrying out a lot of those punishments and stuff, right? The stepmother, the fire one, Suma, yeah, I think it is too. I saw something about it not long ago. I don't know about Ruby Frankie's. They both got, what did they get, right? They got 4 counts. They were convicted of 4 counts of child abuse or whatever it was, right? And the sentence is 1 to 15 years for each count, but the maximum that they could be spend in jail was 30 years, but they don't know, right? It won't be decided. It's between 1 and 15. Well, it'll be between 1 and 7.5 years for each count. So I don't know. Is it 4 years already? You think she's more dangerous, La Mesa, than Jody? I mean, I don't have actual credentials to diagnose either of those women with, what might make them more dangerous than each other, but they both strike me as extremely dangerous people. Next year for Ruby and Jody, says Suma. Yeah, it does. I mean, it has probably been that long. I don't think they're going anywhere anytime soon either. I don't think they're going to get released after 4 years. I mean, I think Ruby Frankie talked a better game than Jody at the hearing, or at the sentencing, but I don't think that either of them. Yeah, I don't know. She might, right? She does have the white lady, the pretty white lady thing going for her, so it's possible. But Utah is weird. La Mesa says, I watched Ruby speak in court like 6 times and it chilled me to the bone. Yeah, she's one of those people who's clearly not all there, to my mind. Like, she seems like a proper like a true believer, you know what I mean? A little bit like Lori Daybell. I don't think they're going to get out after 4 years either, but I don't know if they'll be there for the full 30. They certainly deserve to be. I mean, the only reason those kids are not in heaven with JJ and Tylee is because that boy got out of there and made a run for it. Yeah. Are you talking her arrest was crazy? Are you talking about Ruby Frankie where she just didn't say a single word? Or are you talking about Jody when they barged into her house and she was all whoa, 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 whoa. And she realized that there was a child in chains in her house and it was about to be revealed. I feel like they're as dangerous as each other. Like, I think that Jody is more filled with hate, but I get the distinct impression that Ruby is a sadist. Just from the videos and the way that she treated her kids, right? That she took pleasure in setting them up to fail so that she could punish them. Well, there was a thing, some hater says, I bet Jody is one of the prisoners who doesn't shower. She was like one of the, when she was a non-prisoner, she didn't shower. Isn't that the thing? Hadn't she become, wasn't that what one of the daughters said? That when Jody moved in with them and she went bonkers and was like being attacked by evil demons every night and speaking in tongues and all that she wasn't cleaning herself or taking care of herself. Oh my God, that, yeah, La Mesa, I'm with you. Talking about the neighbor when he's on the phone with the with 911 and he's describing the condition of Ruby's son. Yeah, just yeah, Jody was a filthy, yeah. YouTube will bring out the worst in people. How many times have we seen that? Yeah, well, I mean, that's, something's going to bring out the worst in these people. Why not YouTube? It does seem like there's an awful lot of kind of social media psychosis, but... Good night, Mary. Yes, Mary agrees that Ruby's a sadist. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. At that, yes, the son at the neighbor's house, he was like resigned to the fact that he was going to jail for the things that he'd done. But he had, weighed in the balance jail versus death and made the choice at 11 years old. Made that existential decision. It is just insane to think of what that boy went through. But he saved his life and his sister's life that day. The Holy Ghost was keeping her clean. Maybe she was not showering so that she could repel the evil demons that were attacking her and stuff. Yes, good night, Ritz. Nice to see you and everything. Yeah, it's always a good chat over here. I have the most thoughtful group of followers imaginable. Yeah, that whole thing. Yeah. So okay, I'm gonna say goodnight as well. It's 6:20. Apples will be ready for his supper in just a very few moments. And it was a blast. Once again, I'm glad that we watched that. I'm glad you guys were here to watch it with. Jody didn't shower. So thank you again for all your wonderful support, Boss Lady. Always appreciate you. Thank you all you guys for engaging and being here. And I'm super delighted to see that people are trickling back and to hear that they genuinely didn't know I was here doing videos, because that makes me feel better about how much my views have gone down. It also seems like maybe they're going to go back up a little bit again. So that's exciting. So once again, thank you, everybody. You're always so much fun. I will love you and leave you until next time. I'm going to take the day off tomorrow, and I think we're going to resume with Nancy Brophy on Monday. Yeah, I'm sorry you missed the start too, but there's always next time. I'm going to make efforts to be here on a regular basis. So we will look forward to seeing everybody then. Bye for now.